Oh, music, that's right. Like, and he said the trivia answer.
Oh, I didn't even pick up on that.
It's the show. It's the show.
Gas the show, yo.
Rick Jansen's 56.
This guy loves to
I
run over.
can't stay late today, so we got to get off at our normal time. I think it's going to take me 9 minutes to get back in the chair up in the booth.
You walking over there or someone picking you up?
Now I'm walking today.
Oh, yeah, there's no game
no
here.
fans.
Yeah.
So as long as there's no fans.
Beeline outside
No,
door.
I'm going to go that way.
You're going to go that way?
I got to go in through the command center, which is on Marius.
Ah, okay.
So
No fans.
That's incredible, Dan. That breakdown was great because you can just see in the video all of it, especially the one I noticed is the hip stopping and breaking like that in an extreme way. It's incredible. So we'll have that video. We'll post this audio with the video as well. That was a great breakdown. And Dan, always good talking to you. I hate that it's only 1 hour, but that 1 hour we make the most of. Every Sunday, 10 to 11. Dan, thanks for doing this again, and I can't wait for next week.
Do you want to do next sip with your first read, or do you want to do
either. Okay.
Doesn't matter.
Next sip's fine.
So we'll do next sip first. That'll be coming out of break for you.
Out of the first break.
Yes. So I'm just going to write it down as my reminder.
He knows absolutely what he's talking about. All right, coming up next, it is another episode of Baseball Brunch. Chris Sachs, Greg Murphy, coming up next at Live Casino Concourse again, presented by Here on the Show.
Yeah, you saw. I was trying to.
What's cooking? Good looking?
No.
We've been too busy prepping for the show. We were just trying to make sure that you weren't going to run over into our showtime again this week.
Oh.
Murph can't stay late today, man.
That's right.
What do you mean you didn't know Murph was here? It's 10:58. He better be here.
I'm really strolling around 57, 58.
Or else Sam's doing the show.
Let me talk about baseball.
Yeah, at that point it'll be this Bud Light baseball brunch with Sack and
Sam. Sacking Sam.
Got a nice ring to it.
There will be no content coming from Sam. She'll be like, what? There'll be a lot of arguing.
That's a beautiful thing. That's what the people want. Huh?
I'm not a violent person.
How they have different him and Jansen.
I can only hear myself.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, I know.
I've softened up over the years. Having kids will do that too.
Brunch wrong, by the way.
No way.
Did I spell brunch wrong? Or she did?
No, I didn't.
Is Diaz in charge of our StreamYard today?
Tiki giveaways.
Diaz is becoming our version of Rob Olivas.
When did he get that tweet out?
God.
Well, he's hitting the bourbon early.
Oh, Jesus. We almost
Urban Diaz.
Maybe it was just late. Maybe he was just finishing up.
Yeah, he was just finishing up. He pulling an all-night bender.
Yeah, sun's up. Got to do that baseball brunch read, and then I'm going to bed.
Yeah.
we were up at my mother-in-law's, and there's a bar that has you could live sports. You can not live sports. It's live horse gambling.
Okay.
So we were up there on Friday. We normally stay on Saturday. So with the Preakness, we gave we put in a ticket for a horse for the Preakness, and my wife was like, I really want to gamble on midnight bourbon. I was like, no, we never gamble on anything that has anything to do with Diaz.
He's a big bourbon guy, is he?
He gets really sloppy.
Yeah, bourbon will do that.
He is a sloppy owner.
That is true.
I have a missing night in Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
Kevin Franzen had it.
That's my question for
What's that?
your night there.
I'll give you some
Yeah.
sporadic details.
I got one question.
Summer Sundays are meant for freshly cut grass, ballpark dogs, and the best baseball talk you can find. So kick back with your bacon and eggs and pour yourself a mimosa while Phillies announcer Greg Murphy and Green Legion Radio's Chris Sack break down your fighting Bills and take you around the league right now on Baseball Brunch. Play ball!
Good morning, Philadelphia, and welcome to Bud Light Baseball Brunch, powered by Green Legion Radio, brought to you by our good friends at MCS Residential and MCS Custom Cabinetry. Go to mcsinc-pa.com for all your residential construction needs. This is 102.5 Fox Sports The Gambler, 104.1 in the Trenton area, WDAS AM around the rest of the Delaware Valley. And if you haven't done it yet, download the iHeartRadio app. And wherever you are worldwide, you can listen to Murph and myself and the rest of our great content here at 102.5 Fox Sports The Gambler. This is our last week here at Sports and Social at Philly Live Casino. And thank you so much to everybody here for your hospitality over the last 7 weeks. It's been fantastic. We've had a lot of fun. Some of us had made money, such as myself last week. But you all know me. I am Chris Sack, and my co-host, as always, every single week here on Fox Sports The Gambler, Greg Murphy, Phillies broadcaster. What's up, Murph?
How are you? Good morning. And, we got to give a shout out to the nachos here.
Oh, dude, I had them last week.
They're outstanding here. You got to come down and check them out. If you're in South Philadelphia, come check it out at the Sports and Social because they are good.
Absolutely. Well, hey, if you're going to come down here next week, though, you can come down here and you can hang out at Sports and Social after you hang out with us down at 1100 Social over at Xfinity Live. Make sure you guys get your tickets, $60 per person. It's a actual legit Bud Light baseball brunch. Plenty of food assortments are going to be there as well. From 9 to 1 o'clock, that's going to lead you into the Phillies-Red Sox game next week. Plus, you get to hear a live broadcast with Murph and myself. So make sure you guys go to greenlegion.com, sign up for next week. We have another one against the Yankees in June, which is going to be fantastic, Murph. We're going to talk about this a little bit later on in the show about how that weekend is 100% capacity back down at Citizens Bank Park. So that Sunday is going to be wild. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be insane.
It really is. I am so looking forward to that. You have the Yankees coming to town, which is always a big event anyway here in Philadelphia. But the fact that they're opening the ballpark back up to 100%, it gives me chills.
Oh,
it gives
man.
me chills to think about it. I can't wait to get in there and hear the sights and sounds of the full ballpark. So, thank God we're coming out of this thing. Right?
Oh, man, we can see it coming now. So before we get into our ticket giveaway again this week, and Murph is going to be doing the ticket giveaway trivia question coming up. MCS Construction Services is the largest residential contractor in the Philadelphia area. They supply both resident and commercial contractors. Everything to include custom cabinetry. Reach out to them at www.mcsinc-pa.com or call them at 484-202-3656. Ask for your free estimates so you can get started with your MCS Construction Services experience. Performed with quality and safety. They are licensed and insured and performing services throughout the Delaware Valley, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Delaware, and even Maryland. Once again, reach out to them at www.mcsinc-pa.com or call them at 484-202-3656. And Here we go, Murph. Let's go ahead. Let's do another trivia question this week and give away some tickets.
Yeah, we're giving away 2 tickets for the Friday, June 4th game against the Washington Nationals. Game time is at 7:05. All you have to do is answer the trivia question by following the Green Legion Radio YouTube channel or the Green Legion page on Facebook or our Twitter handle at Green Legion. Put all your answers on one page, please, because it is a dual answer for this particular trivia question. And here it is. And I knew this one. Not even like, who were the last two Phillies to hit for the cycle? It's been a while.
A lot of Phillies fans are going to know this right off the bat, and because for those of us that are long and suffering for some of them to be removed from this list, as being the last one, So there will not be a video. I know a lot of my friends are probably going to be sitting there listening, and they're going to be like, "Oh man, Sack, there he is. He's probably going to have a video with it." No, I do not. And so we'll have that trivia answer and the winner at the top of the second segment. And also, I had some other nuggets too about cycles, Murph, that I thought was interesting. I did some. I'm going to hit you with it at the top of the next segment. Which also, make sure you guys go to our social media feeds right now on StreamYard Sam and Slash. They're putting it together. You can go anywhere on social media for Fox Sports The Gambler, Green Legion. Make sure you guys follow the social media accounts and get in your question, because in the second segment, we're going to do Ask the Show. You can ask Murph or myself any question that you'd like about the current team, what we just did with our weekend before today, whatever you want to ask, or if you need some life advice, Murph is the guy because he is saving everybody from themselves. So without further ado, let's get out of the box right here, Murph, because the week that was, and it wasn't that great of a week. There are some things that are coming up right now. Hopefully today we can win another road series here before we come back home for a week. But I did right here on the run sheet, which I should put a blowtorch to it, 4-2 week if they win Saturday with consecutive road series wins for the first time since July 19th to July 24th, 2019. That's not last year, folks, and that's not this year. That's the first time since the middle summer of 2019.
It's been a while, yeah.
Instead, we had a 500 week, 3-3, and we had it. Murph, we haven't really played great baseball this week. We had a couple comeback victories, but outside of that, the offense has been non-existent.
Yeah, I think, for me right now, the biggest, there's two major concerns with the team, and I know we're going to talk about both of them during this show, but first and foremost, and all you had to do was watch last night's game, Saturday night's game, to get a feel for this. Phillies have a real problem with the defense. It's a real issue right now. Last night, 3 errors in the game, but easily could have been 4 or 5. In that game, and that's a problem when you're giving teams, especially good teams like the Blue Jays with that lineup, and when you're giving them extra outs, it is really difficult to win a baseball game. And this team is not talented enough right now to give away extra outs, and they're not hitting enough right now to give away extra outs. So to me, major issue right now is the defense. And then, we keep saying it. What are we? 6 weeks or a quarter of the way.
7 weeks in. Right? It's the 7th Sunday now of live baseball action. Yeah.
So we're 7 weeks in, and I think we've been saying for the better part of 6 that this offense is going to come around, but it has not come around yet. Now, I'll preface it by saying the offense around baseball has been dreadful this year. Absolutely dreadful. But it's been pretty bad in Philadelphia as well. So, one or two teams is going to figure it out offensively, and they're going to start to put together some win streaks because other teams aren't hitting. Phillies need to figure it out. And the injuries right now, the question marks.
The nagging injuries, the stuff that seems to linger around and is affecting some of our big stars that you're relying on in the middle of the lineup.
Yeah, we don't know about Bryce Harper today, although I think he's probably doubtful for this game this afternoon. We don't know about JT Realmuto, although I think he's doubtful as well in this
especially with the off day tomorrow.
Yeah, and we don't know, but we do know really about Didi. He's going to have an MRI tomorrow, so he's not in the lineup today. It's, they're starting to add up. And as you said, there's lingering issues. This is the same issue that's been bothering JT for the last week and a half. He's missed some games for it. Bryce's injury appears to be new. His shoulder.
It's normally the back. I was thinking the back last night when they pulled him from the game.
Yeah, so I don't know if that's good news or bad news, but hopefully we'll get an update before this game gets started, before we get up the air. But, there are things to be concerned about. All that said, they're half a game out in the NL East, so it just goes to show you that right now around baseball,
yes, and that I know we hate this, and we do this every single Sunday, but we always hate, and I texted Murph last night, and he laughed at me. I hate saying the word rubber match, but here we are again, another baseball brunch Sunday tailgate here at Sports and Social here in South Philadelphia, and another rubber match is on tap for this afternoon. The Phillies so far this year in rubber matches on Sundays, 1-3. Yeah. They started the season 3-0 on Sunday. They lost their last 3. They're 3-3 on Sundays. So today is the legit rubber match for the first 7 weeks as far as baseball for the Phillies on Sundays.
Okay, well, all right. So they got a lot to play for. We got that. And, the idea that they could win a second road series in a row, something that you pointed out hasn't happened since 2019. There's a lot kind of riding on this game. On paper, you look in, you think, all right, without this lineup that is probably going to be put out there by Joe Girardi and Chase Anderson on the mound, you probably give the nod to the Blue Jays. But hey, last night you would give the nod to the Phils, and it didn't work out that way. It's the beauty of baseball. So hopefully Chase Anderson can come in, do what he's been doing. The last 3 times he's pitched, he's given this team a chance to win, and they've won all 3 of those games. So that's a good sign. Great to see him go, 5, maybe even into the 6th inning, and then hand it off to the bullpen with the lead. That would be the best case scenario.
And Murph, real quick, how many weeks now have you been back as a Phillies broadcaster since we removed the tag from former Phillies broadcaster? I'm trying to line this up here.
I missed the first week.
You missed the first week? Okay, I was trying to line it up to where I was like, since you're employed with the Phillies again, are they 0-3 on Sundays? And we're staring at the barrel if we're going to be 0-4 on Sundays? Because
Are you trying to get me more?
no, Murph, we like you too much.
What I told Charlie Manuel, my first year back in 2012, the team was scuffling, and it had been a while since the team was poor. And we were about 2/3 of the way through the season. Hot day in August 9th. I think we were in Pittsburgh, and we had just lost 2 after 3 after we had lost Charlie. And he looks at me and says, "Hey, Murph, look, you're wearing us." And I looked at Charlie and I said, "Hey, Charlie, I didn't pitch today, all right? So it had nothing to do with me, all right?"
All right. So I'll take the same stance as Uncle Charlie on that one. So let's go back a little bit here. We have a little bit of time here before we go to our first break. We have about 8-9 minutes here. So last week, Sunday Night Baseball, we had Aaron Nola on the hill. Didn't have a great start. And I'm just going to graze across these real fast because that led to us losing that series in Atlanta. And then I tell you what, man, that Monday was much needed for me. I think it felt a lot of fans felt that way, and the players felt that way after we blew that series in Atlanta, and we didn't come away with it. But Tuesday is kind of where the big dilemma popped up this week, and again, it was it had something to do with Joe Girardi. I want to get your stance on this here, because when we got into the top of the 6th in Tuesday night's 6-2 victory over the Nationals, we're up 3-0, bases are loaded, nobody's out. Chase Anderson, he sends up Chase Anderson, his spot in the lineup, he's up there, and he goes to the plate, he flies out the left. And then, so McCutchen and Gene Segura don't get the job done. There's no runs. Chase Anderson comes back in for the bottom of the 6th. Trey Turner hits a solo shot, and then Juan Soto is walked, and then Chase Anderson's lifted. At the time, Chase Anderson had thrown 78 pitches. And we all pretty much know what Chase Anderson is. He's a 5-inning pitcher. There was a lot of backlash, a lot of Monday morning quarterback that was coming out on Twitter and other social media outlets about why they let Anderson hit in that spot. And I am of the opinion, Murph, that Girardi did the right thing. Because eventually at some point you have to stretch Chase Anderson further than 5 innings. 78 pitches through 5. He's pitching well. And my real beef with that inning is the fact that McCutchen and Segura didn't get the job done. And Segura had a great at bat, fouled a ton of pitches off. He lined up the center. But in my eyes, I'm not going to sit here and beat up on Joe Girardi being a bad manager chance. So what's your thought on that, Murph, as far as like what you would have done in that situation? Did Girardi do the right thing?
Well, I don't know what I would have done in that situation. Honestly, I have to really go back and re-examine the situation. But here's the thing. It's easy in retrospect to say, all right, that didn't work. But I think you're right. I think what Joe Girardi did is exactly what you're talking about. Here he was. He had an opportunity to get Chase Anderson to go deeper into a game than he had been at any other part of the season. They need him to do that. They need him to have that mentality that he can do that. They need him to succeed in doing that. And he had an opportunity to do it. The bigger problem is, as you pointed out, that the 2 guys at the top of the lineup in this particular situation weren't able to get the job done. That is the crux of the problem. So if you're going to blame Joe Girardi for anything, it's blame him for having some faith in McCutchen and Segura that they were going to be able to get the job done at that point, and they weren't able to. So, look, being a baseball manager is hard when you're doing it before the action. It's really easy when you're doing it after the action happens and looking back. I think Joe Girardi's reasoning was exactly what you pointed out, and I have no problem with it at that point. So, Joe's made some questionable decisions this year. Again, that's baseball.
I think that's nitpicky.
I do too. And so at the end of the day, you're only as good as the guys out there on the field, no matter what kind of manager you are. And his guys have not been consistently good all year. So no, I have no problem with what Joe did in that situation. And you know what? Who knows? Maybe it pays off today when Chase Anderson gets deep into a game. Maybe he gets into the 6th, 7th inning this week.
Right. Hopefully so, because we could use it for sure.
Sure could.
So then we get into Wednesday night's game, and huge come from behind win. A lot of Phillies fans were, I guess you would say there was a dilemma of, hey, we wanted to be happy, but at the same time, it was Odubel Herrera that did the damage in the ninth inning off of closer Brad Hand. So like people were conflicted, like, oh man, like I'm excited when it was Odubel, and it's just like I understand how people feel about it, and I know your side of things and how we all feel about it. But at the same time, like his home run was clutch, it was big time. We needed it. We needed that win because it won us the series, and it got us into the 10th inning, and we had 3 runs in the 10th inning there, and we put it away with Hector Neris pitching the bottom of the 10th. But the conflict that exists in Phillies fans over Odubel Herrera's presence on this team, and he's been playing well, Murph. I mean, through Friday night, I did the run sheet yesterday morning before I had the highway to hell back from upstate New York. 344 through Friday night.
Yeah.
And
One of the best hitters in baseball over that span.
Right.
Certainly one of the best hitters for the Phils. Look, if at the end of the day, the responsibility of this front office is to win baseball games, and if they think Odubel Herrera in center field is the guy that can help them win the most games, that's who's going to be playing out there the majority of the time. And as a Phillies fan, I want them to win as many games as they can, and Odubel Herrera can help them win games. Then I'm at this point, because I feel like he's gone through the process. He's been punished for what he did.
2 years.
2 years. Now he's back trying to make amends and doing all the right things. Look, help him win games. That's what I'm saying. Help him win games. So I was on my feet when he hit that home run. It was terrific.
And speaking of center field, Adam Hazley has returned to the organization. He's down in Clearwater. Right now, he's got 30 days left on the restricted list before they have to reactivate him. And when he does come back, he's going to be back with the Iron Pigs. All of us will suspect, barring any injuries by that point. Have you heard anything throughout the organization about why he was gone, why he was missing? How is he looking right now? Any information, any intel that you can give us on Hazley coming back?
No, really, the situation as to why he was gone is really kind of a personal thing, and I think they're keeping that within the higher ups of the organization. I certainly don't know the reason, but the good news is that he is back. And Joe Girardi said that he got a chance to speak with him, I think it was yesterday. He sounded good. He's excited to be back. So now it's a matter of getting his body back into shape, play some games at the lower levels, get him back up to the Lehigh Valley, and see if he can help his team at the big league level. That's the most important thing. Well, that's the second most important thing. The most important thing is that he's back, he's feeling good, and he's ready. So that's good.
Okay. And then Archie Bradley should be rejoining the team on Tuesday.
Yes.
I know he had a rehab assignment Saturday in Lehigh Valley. I believe he gave up 2 hits and gave up a run, but everything looks like it's good to go. We should have him back on Tuesday, which is going to further stretch our bullpen.
Which is great. It's a great situation for the Phils because they need him in that bullpen. To give length. He's another guy that can pitch late in the game, 7th, 8th, even the 9th inning. He'll help out Alvarado. He'll help out Neris. He'll help out Brogdon. So you get those guys. And that's always good for the bullpen. Hey, before we take a break, and I know we have to get to a break, but the Phillies lineup just out right now.
Okay,
and
give it to
it's, as you would expect, it's missing some key components.
So it's a mash unit today.
It really is. So Andrew McCutcheon will lead off. He's the DH today. Jim Segura batting second, playing second base, by Hoskins and Alec Baldwin. Brad Miller is the left fielder. He is batting 5th. Andrew Knapp is doing catching, batting 6th. It'll be Herrera in center field, Scott Kingery in right field, and Nick Maton at shortstop. So no Bryce Harper, no JT Realmuto. We knew there'd be no Didi Gregorius in this game. And whether or not those guys are even available off the bench, I don't have an answer to that right now. So it's, next guy up. It has to be that mentality, at least for the next couple of days.
And while we're at it here, too, King of Prussia Diner is a sponsor of Bud Light Baseball Brunch. They're having a job fair on May 22nd to the 23rd, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., 128 Town Center Road, King of Prussia, Pennsylvania, hiring 90 new team members, plus or minus, full-time, part-time, and summer jobs available. Hiring on the spot for great candidates, plus boys, dishwashers, servers, hostesses, shift managers, bartenders, line cooks, chefs, pizza chefs, bakers, future managers and executives. Great working environment, great food, medical, 401k, and profit sharing plans are in the works. And I guess I have to brush up on my Spanish here. Les damos la bienvenida a todos los aplicantes hispanos durante la feria de trabajo. Contaremos con representantes hispanos hablantes prestos a atender todos sus preguntas. Vengan y únanse a nuestro equipo. And I'm going to do this. I'm going to kick it to break now. We'll be right back right after these messages right here on 102.5 Fox Sports again.
Oh, yeah.
Is that the first Spanish live read you've ever had on here?
Very good. That was pretty good, though. Oh, God. That was fantastic, actually. You even had the accent and everything.
Yeah.
Dude,
Were you fluent in Spanish?
I was, yeah.
My daughter speaks perfect Spanish.
Yeah, I used to be the translator when I worked at McDonald's. I talked to everybody.
How'd you learn?
Well, I had it in school for 5 or 6 years.
Oh, that's hard to learn.
7th, 8th, and God, junior, senior year.
Yeah, you and me both.
Yeah, I don't remember. It was in 1 year.
I know a lot of Spanish, but I'm far from fluent. But yeah, I took Spanish classes the last 3 years down in Philadelphia. People talk about language.
Yeah.
Luis Dominguez tuned in.
He's-
for you, that big guy.
Did he like that?
Yeah.
My man.
Boy, yeah.
One of the questions that we got out here for the stream that I pointed out for Slash is, why is your nickname Sack? So
That'll be the last one.
Delicately explained.
we can take that many different ways. Like,
That's kind of funny.
Many interpretations.
Straight back into the next.
yeah, do the next, and then we'll. I can announce the. Do we have a winner? Do you guys have the winner?
Yeah, but don't
Like
say it.
Davis.
Like that?
I'll welcome us back then, and just get into the next.
Yeah,
one very
yeah,
quick.
absolutely. And then kick over to me, and then I'll do my nuggets here for
Okay.
cycle on that. So.
When are we doing
No, you know what you have queued up for me.
and are we doing this?
We have way too much fun here. We have way too much fun. Yeah, me neither. I hate fun shows.
I like being
Makes me incredibly uncomfortable.
I want to be micromanaged.
Nah, get the advertising dollars for it. It's fine. Do whatever you want to do. Just do you. 24 seconds is a night at Kyle's.
No. 24 seconds. Got the NBA. True. Yeah, so I'm good for next weekend. It's touch and go. I'm going to be way hungover. I'm telling you that right now.
I'll carry the show. Can you get that cut?
Yeah.
Oh, plenty of people that. And welcome back to Bud Light Baseball Brunch, powered by Green Legion Radio. We are broadcasting live from Sports and Social at Philly Live Casino. Chris Sack and Greg Murphy here with you. And a reminder, the neck sip, as in what connects your head to your torso. N-E-C-K neck. It's the neck sip. Time to free up those hands and wear your drink, everyone. Visit nextsip.com and follow them at nextsip. It holds any beverage, even bottles, cans, and snacks. It's COVID safe. Wearing your drink helps stop the spread of germs. This beautiful piece of mastery sits around your neck with a durable pouch and straw. Check with both hands and drink at the same time. Visit nextsip.com. Customized with your team's colors. Perfect for sporting events, parties, hunting, or anything else outdoor. Philly Corn and USA Made, only $5 each for your drink and for your hand. Get 15% off when you use the code Green Legion. Again, visit nextsip.com and follow them at nextsip. There you go.
You know, that read is a beautiful piece of mastery,
It
too.
is.
I love it every week that you do it. So let's give away some tickets here.
All right.
So who were the last two Phillies to hit for the cycle? Third baseman David Bell against the Montreal Expos on June 28, 2004 at Citizens Bank Park. And outfielder Greg Jeffries on August 25th, 1995 against the Los Angeles Dodgers at the Vet. Mike Davis is our winner for the tickets. Congratulations, Mike. You won 2 tickets for Friday, June 4th against the Washington Nationals. Hopefully you get Max Scherzer versus Zach Wheeler or Aaron Nola. That'd be fantastic. But, hey, here's a couple of cycle nuggets here for you there, Murph. It's been almost 17 years since the last time the Phillies have hit one.
That's hard to believe.
They have 8 total cycles in franchise history.
Yep.
2 of them happened in 1894.
I remember that well.
So only 6 since 1927.
Okay.
The most cycles by a franchise all time is the Pittsburgh Pirates with 24. The Phillies have allowed 17. So the most cycles allowed all time by any franchise is the St. Louis Cardinals.
Really?
Yes.
I think that's cool. Interesting. Surprised the Pirates are the team with the most cycles. The Cardinals giving them up. That's a little surprising as well. 2004. I remember when David Bell hit for the cycle.
CBP just opened.
Every single time a guy in the Phillies lineup gets leads off with a home run, has a double and a single, out comes the graphic. The last player to ever.
We need to stop pulling that graphic.
Well, we do. We need a new name on that graphic. Take off David Bell and bring some up. Maybe it happens today. Maybe today's the day with the next man up mentality that the Phils are playing with this afternoon. Who knows?
Maybe Bamboo Brad Miller gets the job done.
You know what? He's perfect.
Bamboo, baby.
He's got all the tools. He could do it. Although lefty and lefty today, so it makes it a little more challenging for him.
But Pat House, who has been down here pretty much every week with us, my buddy Pat, he's been down here every week. Unfortunately, he's not here today, but he will be back with us next week. He bought his ticket for the baseball brunch tailgate over at 1100 Social. He put on here, trivia question should have been, what player does Chris hate the most? Because he is one of the answers. So I wasn't a big David Bell fan, and the fact that he still is the last Philly to hit for the cycle, it still sticks in my craw. And when Ryan Howard, he did it in Colorado, he got an unfavorable ruling by the scorekeeper on that call. He called it a single with a one-base error. He didn't even touch it. It was a double all day long, and we should have the cycle. If it was at home, it would have been a cycle. So, Pat, thank you for bringing that up, my hatred for David Bell. I did this just for you guys. So, now we're here in our second segment here on Bud Light Baseball Brunch on 102.5 Fox Sports The Gambler. It is time for Ask the Show or Life Advice with Murph.
Yeah.
So, Slash, what did you and Sam get over there? I know one of the questions I'm actually looking forward to answering because it's pretty funny.
Oh, I'm saving that for the end. But first one comes from our buddy Bruce Vail, and it's simply, is it time to give up on Scott Kingery? And then I'll add, if the answer is no, then why? Murph?
Well, actually, Murph, if you don't mind, Scott Kingery, there is a job fair at the King of Russia Diner next week. So make sure that you are in attendance for that, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. on May 22nd to the 23rd. But Murph, go ahead. I know you're going to be a little bit more discreet than I was.
Yeah. Well, look. First of all, is it time to give up on Scott Kingery? No, it is not time to give up on Scott Kingery. Is it time to do something different with Scott Kingery? Yeah, which is what they were attempting to do at the beginning of the season. Allow him to go down in Lehigh Valley, allow him to play in games, and try and figure out his swing. I have talked to no short of a dozen baseball guys that I respect, and every single one of them has told me Scott Kingery can play at this level. He just has to figure out that swing, the swing that he broke down and rebuilt. He's not working. He needs to break it down again and get back to what he was doing before. So he's young. He's athletic. He understands that he's not playing well. I don't know if you saw the column that Matt Gale wrote in The Athletic this week where he spoke to Scott Kingery, and Scott said, look, I need to get away from, it's hard to fix your game in the big leagues. I need to get back to
especially when you're not playing every day.
Not playing every day, getting, random at bats, and it's a difficult situation that he's in. The question is, what do the Phillies do? Because the Phillies need bodies right now. I mean, they have a 40-man roster. He's on it, They need bodies, and right now they're forced to have Scott Kingery at the big league level and hope that he can contribute in some ways. He hasn't been able to do so far. But it's not just as easy as like, hey, let's cut Scott Kingery and what? Bring in who? Who's that guy?
Right.
Ronald Reyes is hurt. Once he gets healthy, I would imagine Scott will go back to AAA, and Reyes will be up here on the big league level. But until then, it is what it is. You need Scott for the long term, and you need to figure it out. But right now, you need him up here because you need bodies.
Well, especially because now, tomorrow or Monday, we're going to have a MRI for Didi Gregorius, and he's got a bump on his elbow now. It's the same elbow that he had Tommy John surgery on, but it's on the the outer part of his elbow, not the interior. So his UCL is still good.
Yeah.
But if he goes on injured list, you need Scott Kingery to be able to give you something at second base and shortstop, because Maton is doing that right now. He's playing shortstop and he's playing well. He's not hitting as great as he was when he first came up, but the rest of the lineup isn't hitting well either. He's here for his versatility defensively, and he's got to figure it out with his bat. But it's not time to give up on him. If the Phillies had their druthers and Murph and myself, he'd be down in AAA right now trying to figure it out and work on his swing. And unfortunately, because he's called to arms right now, he has to be here.
Right, and I think Scott Kingery was asked that question, and he said, "Yeah, I think if all things were equal right now, I'd probably be better off playing every day in AAA and trying to figure it out." But that's really not an option right now. So there you have it.
All right, next one is from Broad Street South. It is, what are your thoughts on Albert Pujols signing with the Dodgers? And I guess what his role will be.
Well, we kind of grieved on that last week, Murph. We had that in our Boppo or Oppo, and I believe we both said that we could see him signing someplace based off of injuries. The Dodgers have been scuffling early on here in the season. That's been no secret at all. I do believe right now they're on a 3 or 4 game winning streak.
Yeah.
So they were 18-17 to 22-17 now. But listen, if you're looking for him to be a bat off the bench in the National League, go for it. You're wasting versatility in a position that you could have for a bench spot. But I think that he will find himself at first base. He will work himself in there, because I don't know if Gavin Lux at second base the long term, because now actually bringing him in works best, because Corey Seager fractured his hand last night.
Right. So
you might be able to move Gavin Lux over to shortstop, move Max Muncy back to second base, and you could put Pujols at first base and get him some reps over there and let him play. And eventually, at some point, they're going to get Cody Bellinger back. But they need their stars to get going too. Bringing Pujols in, he's a seasoned veteran. He's won 2 World Series titles. This is the type of guy that will bring leadership to the clubhouse and experience. I don't look at it as a bad move. I thought he was geared towards the American League because they would have a DH. But hey, lo and behold, the defending World Series champion final spot for him. Good for him.
Yeah, and you know what? I think that's part of it. What you said there right at the very end. The Dodgers. I think last week when we were talking about this, I said, it's really hard for a Major League Baseball team to just kind of find an extra spot for a guy. Those roster spots, they mean something. But if there's any team in baseball right now that could probably get away with, kind of putting him as the 26th guy on their roster, then it's the Dodgers. They do have a lot of depth. Now, granted, they're a little banged up as well. But honestly, I was surprised it happened so quickly. I think the Dodgers probably could have waited a little bit and probably gotten him in a month or so. But you know what? Good for Albert. He's a good guy. One of the good guys in baseball. He's joining up with probably the best team in baseball right now. Who knows? Maybe there's some kind of Cinderella story and all this at the end, and he comes up in a big spot in the postseason and does something good for the Dodgers. He certainly is capable of doing that. I don't think we'll see him play a whole lot at first base, honestly, unless he's forced to because of injury. But if they have that luxury, just pop him up off the bat.
A few times a week. He's not going to play over there 6-7 times a week. But hey, if you can get him in the lineup, you can get his bat in the lineup 3-4 times tops.
He's not going to hurt you. He's not going to hurt you in the lineup.
Yeah. Yep.
Is he a Hall of Fame now?
I would probably vote for him.
Yeah, no, it's the sky too. All right, so we have 2 from our guy Larry Jr. And the first one I really like. Who has been the unsung hero for the Phillies so far this season?
Wow.
Start with Zach here.
I mean, I kind of want to look at the starting rotation at this one. And I know Zach Eflin got beat up a little bit on Thursday. But I'm going to go with sacks. I'm going to go with Zach Wheeler and Zach Eflin. Zach Wheeler had, and we talked about this at the beginning of the season, Zach Wheeler has been everything as advertised. And the best part about Wheeler is, a lot of people and fans like to look at your contract. Oh, man, he's making so much money. And this was a great contract that the Phillies signed Zach Wheeler to, because if you look at the other options and how they're performing this season, I know Garrett Cole is phenomenal, but that deal is 4 years more and like $200 million more. So if you want bang for your buck, that's Zach Wheeler. He's been phenomenal, outstanding every single time he's taken the mound outside that first inning against the Mets on that one Saturday. And then Zach Eflin, he's been steady Eddie. He's been in the 6th, 7th inning. Both of those guys have been saving your bullpen, which has done so much more than what they could ask for.
All right, I agree with you. I think that's a perfect answer. I'll go a little bit off the board, and I'm sure I'm getting hear it from some folks by picking this particular guy. But if you look at the numbers and you look at when he is producing, I would say an unsung hero on this team right now is Rhys Hoskins. Rhys Hoskins has been clutch in after the 7th inning.
We didn't even bring that up on Friday night, too.
Yeah. So after the 7th inning in games this year, he is, I think, 3rd or 4th in baseball in terms of clutch hits. He's batting over 300 in those situations. He has 12 RBIs. He has 6 game-winning RBIs, which is second in all of baseball.
Can you say that again? Because I don't think Jansen's heard
Yeah, well, he's one of the people I was thinking about. But look, is he betting 320? And no, he's not. But if you look at when he is producing, 6 game-winning RBIs this year, second only to Travis Shaw in all of baseball, he has 7. He's been clutch. So an unsung hero, a guy who's probably not getting enough credit, Rhys Hoskins.
Yeah, especially now with those injuries in the lineup, too. I mean, he's going to come up big, that now to 3 hole. Yes.
All right, the second one for Phillies, Jay, is who's the best player you guys have seen in person? Zach, I know you go to a lot of games.
Yeah, I've been. I know Murph worked for for the Phillies, so he's been to a lot more than me. I've probably been to over 1,000 games in my lifetime. The best player that I've ever seen in person.
And why is it Vince Velasquez? You got to bring it up once.
Jansen didn't ask the question, right? Oh, God. Murph, why don't you go first? I got to think about this real fast.
Yeah, so for me,
this is one of those, like, when we're talking about being put on the spot, you like to have a little bit of leeway. It's tough to try and figure that out.
Well, if you stop and think about, Mike Trout is the best player I've seen in person.
I was supposed to see him 3 times, and he got hurt twice, and then, it's like, I haven't seen him in person yet.
When you see Mike Trout play, you can see that he plays at a little bit of a different level than everybody else. He's a phenomenal player. So just off the top of my head, I would say Mike Trout. And it's an easy answer. It's kind of a cop-out answer. He's the best player in baseball, right. but I've seen him many, many times, and he's outstanding. I'll go with it.
All right, if I'm going to go with player and not pitcher, I'll say Derek Jeter was my favorite player to see in person. But my favorite player, period, was Roy Halladay.
Okay.
And I was a fan of Roy Halladay before Halladay came to the Phillies. I went to a Yankees Blue Jays game at Old Yankee Stadium back in 2007, and Doc pitched that day.
Okay.
And I fell in love. I mean, the guy was quick. He was efficient. He was a machine on the mound. It was unbelievable. When he came here in 2010, I saw him 15 times that year. 15, including his postseason no-hitter. There will never be another pitcher that I will be enamored more by than Roy Halladay.
That's a great answer.
I actually have one for you guys, and it is pertaining to Vince Velasquez. What do you make of his last 3 quality starts, and is it convincing enough, being that we've waited so long for him to, string together these kind of performances?
Yeah, I don't know that you can kind of go all in on Vince quite yet, but I think
we've been here before.
Yeah, we have been here before, and it's kind of like, fool me once, shame on me.
You're waiting for the implosion.
But yeah, no, I'm not actually. I actually think that Vince has shown over the last couple of weeks that he can be effective. And I think with every outing that he is effective, Vince feels more confident in himself. And for Vince, knowing him the way I know him, that's an important part for him. He sometimes gets in his own way in between the years. And the more success that he has, the better he is going to continue to throw. So, have we turned the corner on Vince Velasquez? No, I don't think so yet. But I think you can be encouraged by what you've seen. This is a really good Blue Jays lineup, and he shut them down.
Yes, he did.
He shut them down. So, yeah, what he said. So, yeah, I'm encouraged by Vince Velasquez, but because we are where we are with him, we need to see it.
Right. And Vinny Velo has a 2.84 ERA in his 5 starts this season. He's pitched really well. I know he gets a lot of criticism, and the fans will get down on him. And they're going to jump on him as soon as he has a one bad start, for sure. But he has pitched well. He has earned his way into this rotation for the foreseeable future, and we'll see how long it lasts. But I know we're going to be coming up here on a break, and I do believe you have one more question for me there, Slash.
I do. The grand finale for Chris Sack here. Chris Sack. Why is your nickname Sack? Chris Sack here.
Oh, gosh. All right. So, first of all, my nickname is Sack because that's my last name.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, it's a lot of people want to say, "Oh, that's unfortunate." And growing up, it was. You heard a lot of stuff. I played on soccer teams where we traveled everywhere.
I would just call you Hack.
Well, I mean, actually, that's one of the better ones that I've heard. But yeah, like you go here, you go there, you go to like Shalleck Regional High School, and they have like a couch on the sideline, and then as soon as they see you, they're salivating like dogs because they know what your last name is. But I remember I almost got into a fight with a player on the field, and my dad, after the game, I was like 12, 13 years old, and my dad's like, "So what did he say to you?" And I was like, "Well, Dad, he was saying something about our last name." And he's like, "All right, well, what else have you heard?" So like I'm rattling off all the names. My dad's like, "Get used to it. Use it to your advantage. Like if they want to sit there and think about what your last name is, then turn it around on them and just dominate them on the field." And guess what? I did. So so it was one of those things where my dad had all those years of experience dealing with it. And now I'm in my mid-30s. I never hear anything about it anymore. So thanks for bringing that up. But yes, it's because of my last name.
It's your actual last name.
It's my actual last name. It's not even. Well, it's a nickname because no one calls. It's like you with Murph.
Right.
Nobody calls you Greg. No. You're Murph.
Right.
Or like Gabe Kapler would call you Murphy. Like.
I kid, of course. I thank everybody for your participation. Great question.
Absolutely. Yes. Thank you, guys. And speaking of Baseball Brunch here, Baseball Brunch is part of the Green Legion Radio and Green Legion family. Remember, while our radio shows are growing by leaps and bounds, the bread and butter of the family is the experience you have with us when the Eagles hit the road. We are gearing up for an incredible Eagles road trip schedule, which will include Las Vegas, Denver, Dallas, Atlanta, Carolina, Detroit, Washington, D.C., and even a trip to the Dominican Republic for an awesome watch party weekend, either over the bye week or in place of visiting the Giants. Go to greenlegion.com or contact me over the 215-666-5940. The Green Legion trip packages will be live on Monday, May 17th. Make sure you guys get to the website because I know everybody wants to sign up for the Las Vegas trip. And while we're at it, let's go to break here on 102.5 Fox Sports The Gambler. This is Bud Light Baseball Brunch with Greg Murphy. I'm Chris Sack, and we'll be right back right after these messages.
All right. Coming back.
Yes, sir.
How long does this break?
Oh, that's a cool break. Yeah, we get plenty. Woo. I like it a lot. 57. Now be too strong. Good thing I stretched that segment because I was about to wrap up at 40. Really?
Yeah, I wasn't going to, but I feel like when's a better time to see our fading? But I'm going to
All right, so we'll come back. You bring us back in.
Yep.
Bucks County baseball, and then we'll go to work.
Yes. That's it won't be too bad.
You got a bonus. Doesn't count.
Oh, remember for 1 week, I had Marcus Stroman, and we both said, take the over. It was 2-0.
Yeah.
Colorado.
Yeah. I need to get back on the track. I only have one over under the 52 lines. I think the line.
Well, that's why I always do 2 games and 1 over.
Okay. All right, I'll start doing it. I've been doing this video forever.
I never really said anything to you about it because I just figured you liked over under.
Yeah.
just so that I can hear.
I hate over because you can either be screwed early on, or you sit there. It's like a 2-0 game. It's 8.5 runs, and it's the 6th inning. You're like, where's the offense?
Keep in touch.
And welcome back to Bud Light Baseball Brunch, powered by Green Legion Radio, live from Sports and Social at Philly Live Casino. Chris Sack, Greg Murphy here with you on 102.5 Fox Sports The Gambler. Good to have you with us on this Sunday, our last Sunday here at Sports and Social.
Been a great time.
Headed over to Xfinity Live next week. We hope to see you there. A reminder, Bucks County Baseball Company is a proud sponsor of the Baseball Brunch with me and Chris Sack. Bucks County Baseball Company is the premier vintage sports clothing and collectible retail store in the tri-state area. Visit www.buckscountybaseballco.com or stop by the Bristol, PA location to see their incredible selection of unique vintage sports items from the Phillies, Eagles, Sixers, Flyers, and much more. Again, visit www.buckscountybaseballco.com or stop by their Bristol, PA location. The showroom is huge, the website even bigger. Check out Bucks County Baseball Company right now.
And welcome back to our last segment here on 102.5 Fox Sports The Gambler. We are Bud Light Baseball Brunch with Greg Murphy and Chris Sack. And Murph, I always love our last segment of the show, and not because we're done with the show. It's just like I think the content that we bring in the last segment is always like some of the most fun that we get to have.
We're trying to win people some money.
Yeah, we try to win people some money. Obviously, neither of us had much success about it last week. Unfortunately, I won't say unfortunately. Fortunately, I did not use my 3 picks last week. I used one of yours. I used one of mine. And Jacob DeGrom was pitching for the Mets. So I hit for $970 last week. So if you guys want, you can come down here and hang out with me and walk up to the kiosk and make a play after the show. Otherwise, we're just going to be playing Russian roulette with my picks on the show. So I believe Jansen's going to have some fun with us today, Murph, at our expense. Updated standings. I believe you said that you think you went 1-1-1 last week, but
thought I did. I pushed on one.
I don't listen to myself on the show. So my best friend who runs our social media, he did check us out for last week. So I'll go back and do it myself. But as it stands right now, both of us went 1-2 last week.
Right.
You moved to 9-8 on the season, while I go to 7-10.
Back it up.
Yes. So we both need a rebound this week, Murph.
I hate that sound.
Thanks, Jansen. All right, so let's go ahead here. 3 betting lines on Sunday's Major League Baseball ticket that we like. Money line, run line, over/under run totals. Murph, what's your first one this week, buddy?
All right, first one for me, I'm looking at the Giants and the Pirates in Pittsburgh in this one. Alex Wood versus Mitch Keller. Both teams heading out on the road after this one is done. Now, the Giants don't have to go back to the West Coast. They're only going, I believe, to Cincinnati, and I think the Pirates are heading to the Cardinals. So kind of a similar travel schedule for those guys. You always look at on getaway day, and the team's just going to be looking to get back on the plane and get back home. I don't think that's going to be the case here. So then I would tip my cap towards the better team. The Giants are still playing good baseball right now. So I'm going to take the Giants over the Pirates minus 157. But I like the Giants to win that final game in Pittsburgh before heading back to the Midwest for their next series.
You just took the San Francisco Gate Capitals.
Yes, I did.
You would. You would.
So,
I'm rooting against you on that one, Murph. I hope you lose your money. So my first one for this week is the Astros, red hot, winners of 5 in a row, playing the Rangers, minus 188. I have them on the money line, Murph. I added them in my ticket here before the show. So play the Astros. They are playing extremely well. Lance McCullers on the mound today. One of their better starting pitchers, and that offense is red hot, including Jose Altuve, who's hitting 10 in a row right now. I'm taking the Astros to beat the Rangers down there in Houston.
all right, when I'm looking for my picks, I'm always looking for lines that just look a little off to me, right? So the Reds and Rockies this week, the over-under in this game is 11.5. Okay, that's fine. It's out in Coors Field. A lot of runs being scored out there, of course, in their history. However, offense across baseball right now is just absolutely dreadful. It is down across the board, and it is down in a wide margin. So I really started to like the unders in a lot of these games. So there you go, 11.5. It's basically begging you to play the over. It's begging you to play the over, which probably I should do, but I'm not. I'm going to go the under. 11.5.
I actually like that one.
Hoffman versus Senzatella, take 11.5, take the under.
Yep, that's a good pick. I'm going to go with Shane Bieber, not Justin Bieber, on the mound for the Indians, on the road against the Mariners. I'm going to take Shane Bieber all day, every day. You always rock with the ace, minus 220. Add the Indians to your ticket today.
Yeah, that's a minus 220. You're going to have to put some money down to win some.
Or you just parlay it.
Hey,
you parlay it.
I see what you did.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I like it. All right. Finally for me, Another good team that I think is just going to overpower today. The Dodgers, who have kind of righted their ship over the last couple of days.
Bullpen game.
I know. It's a bullpen game.
Walker Buehler.
It was supposed to be Walker Buehler. They scratched him.
They put him off to Monday.
So, but that just makes me think even more that they're just like, we could beat these guys with a bullpen. You know what I'm saying? So I think the Dodgers go out and just knock the cover off the baseball today offensively, and they beat the Marlins easily down there. I think that's what's up there. So Dodgers minus 153. Take that.
Yeah, they are in LA.
Oh, they're in LA.
Yeah, they are.
Even more reason.
Yeah, absolutely. Winners of 4 straight there as well. And Walker Buehler, if they scratched him for Monday and they were playing the Giants or the Padres, I'd understand.
Who they got?
Playing Diamondbacks.
Well, division team.
I know, but they stink too. Is that Bumgarner on that team too? And you can still let me hear about that one.
I feel like I was 3-0 this week. I'm just telling you.
I'm going to go with the Yankees and the Orioles. Over 9, minus 115. John Means was supposed to start for the Orioles down in Camden Yards today, and he was scratched just a couple hours ago. So if that's a bullpen game, and you're going up against the Yankees lineup, that right there, they're salivating. And then Montgomery's pitching for the Yankees. He's okay. He's nothing special. The Orioles will hit him and get a few runs there. Over 9 Yankees Orioles. That's my third pick for the week. I'm feeling pretty confident as well. I think next week Jansen is going to have to tuck away that losing horn that he likes to play for us for sure. Now,
yeah, Jansen. Tuck it away.
Tuck it away, Jansen. It's a good drop right there. So let's go ahead now for our favorite segment that we like to do every single week. Can you believe it? Murph, can you believe it?
I can believe
All right.
it.
Yeah, no, me too. Every single time. Except Jansen's always slow on the draw there. I think we need somebody new in the studio. So, Murph, can you believe it? Give me your first one for this week.
All right, I got a bunch today, so I'm trying to figure out which one to use. But I'm gonna go with this one just because it's historic and I kind of like it. Clayton Kershaw. How about this? First Dodgers pitcher to give up 5 runs, but also strike out 11 in the same game and get the win since Sandy Koufax did back in 1965. So, he wasn't at his best, gave up the 5 runs, but he's striking out 11, and he got the win because the Dodgers offense is that good. That's 1965. How about that?
Yeah.
How about that?
How about that? That's a Tom McCarthy quote right there. All right, so my first one is a Mets one. Patrick Mazeika became the first Mets player with multiple walk-offs within 5 days of each other since Mike Baxter had one on May 7th and May 9th of 2013. The funny thing is he had, at that point in the week, 0 hits in his major league career.
Yeah.
Yet he had 2 walk-offs because he had 2 fielder's choices.
Yeah. Wow, you can't wait to tell the grandkids about the 2 fielder choices that you had to help your team win the
Long
game.
drive! Hold on, no, it's a fielder's choice.
Whatever works. I'll take it. How about that? Okay. Here's one. And then I've got another one that I'm going to give you, but maybe it's not a how about that before we wrap it up. But this is kind of Fernando Tatis Jr. of the Padres. He was 18 months old when Adam Wainwright, who will start against the Padres, or who did start against the Padres this week, was drafted by the Braves. Wow. He was 18 months old, and they faced each other this week.
God, I didn't even know he was drafted by the Braves because he's been a Cardinal the whole time. I always say, man, like, I remember his rookie year in 2006, and they won that epic 7-game series against the Mets in the NLCS, and he dropped that curveball as the closer of that team on Carlos Beltran that just completely froze him to win that series. Absolutely incredible. And the fact that he's still around is great. Man, all these years later. My next one is, hold on, let's see. I have one here in regards to Shohei Ohtani. First player to start as a pitcher and eventually move to right field since Cesar Tovar on September 22nd, 1968. He's the first pitcher to go directly from the mound to right field since Harvey Haddix on September 28, 1952. This is courtesy of our buddy Ryan Spader. Another great nugget about him. And I know you have an additional one, Murph, and I'll give you mine as well. Roy Halladay would have turned 44 years old the other day. He still leads all of baseball in complete games since the start of 2009 season. And he hasn't played since 2013.
Well, this one is kind of what we were talking about early in the program, and that is that offense is down across baseball. And this kind of illustrates it. It's fun to, if you like numbers and you like the analytics and you like cool stats, one of the great Twitter follows is Sports Info Solutions. They just have some really interesting numbers that they pull up. How about this? This week, well, actually yesterday, so Saturday, was one of the better days for Major League Baseball hitters this season. Yesterday, hitters went 264 batting average with a 344 on base percentage, a 440 slugging percentage, and an OPS of 784. That's league wide yesterday. 264 batting average. For the season, the players across Major League Baseball have combined for a batting average of 235. Oof. 235. Yikes. That's the average in Major League Baseball. It is awful right now.
Well, hopefully we can get some offense out of the Phillies today, Murph. Look at the week ahead real quick. We have a couple minutes left. We have Chase Anderson on the mound against left-hander Robbie Ray for the Toronto Blue Jays down in Dunedin, Florida. Another off day on Monday before coming home for 3 against the pesky Miami Marlins. We were 3-7 against them last season in a 3-game series against first-place Boston Red Sox. Bud Light Baseball Brunch next Sunday at 1100 Social Xfinity Live. Go to greenlegion.com to get your tickets to join us next Sunday. Murph, real quick tidbit, what are you looking forward to this week out of the Phillies?
Well, you know what? I'm looking forward to getting back home, and they play better here at Citizens Bank Park. It would be really, really great. I think really kind of uplifting if they figure out a way to win today. And seeing all those guys that they have, and Chase Anderson on the mound, they can figure out a way to get out of this road trip 5-4, come back to Philadelphia. I think that's a win. Sure.
I agree.
So I'd love to see that today. But then get back here to Philly, start playing that brand of baseball that we've seen at Citizens Bank Park. There's going to be double the fans in the ballpark this week, if I'm not mistaken. And then by next series, 100%. Are you kidding me?
Let's go, baby.
Let's do it.
Let's go. Thanks again to our friends here at Sports and Social for their hospitality the last 7 weeks. It's been phenomenal. We've had a great time. We've had some good turnouts here as well. And for Greg Murphy, our whole team here, including John Jansen back in the studio, I'm Chris Sack. Like a 3-1 pitch to Ryan Howard, we are out of here, everyone. Have a great rest of your Sunday.
Thanks, John.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Jansen, appreciate it, buddy. All right. I got to give Sliders credit on that one because I was trying to figure out, I was like, man, I'm really lacking in how they close out the show. So I was like, that stuck in my crawl there for a few weeks. I was like, I got to get better with wrapping up the show. I was like,